that shines in the champ select as well. The hero selection here, as we immediately see, there it is. You were mentioning this before, by the way, and we saw how powerful it was. McGinnis or Purdue is like, please, no, we don't want to deal with that today.
I mean, I totally get it. I hate playing against McGinnis. All those turrets, way too much HP, in my opinion. They need to be nerfed. They need to be killed a little bit quicker because it's sometimes impossible as they're just pelting on at you. But interestingly enough, on the other side of things, you get a very different ban. So Purdue, Thomas, scared of different champions and different builds. Hovering the 7 right now on Thomas College, we saw how I don't want to call this player out, how kind of ineffective 7-1 it was in the last game. And I mean, when I was talking to Zephyr, he had mentioned that 7 right now is a little one-coded, not as flexible as some of the other different characters are in this game. So with that being said, a good 7 could change the tides of the game, but a bad 7 still doesn't lose you the game because Northwood still won.
Chixxa's just calling out all 7 mains right now. That was brutal to hear. Just
okay, I'm sorry. I've been beaten, and I've also beaten up many 7s, so it's fair. It's fair.
100%, that's fair. At the same time, we are seeing a relatively same draft, though. Remember, 7 was on that left side to start out here in the hero selection, and then Hayes was on the right side. We saw this level of just adaptability and just the on-hit registry that can come out. However, again, keep in mind, St. Clair did not excel with these heroes as well as they would really hope. So the Hayes and Wraith both going to be locked in, powerful characters if given the opportunity to shine, but the Yamato tossed over to the other side, and there is one that I think you really like, Chixxa.
I am, in fact, a Kelvin main. I say main very lightly. I don't have that much time in this game, but he's certainly a fun one. Got banned in the last game, I think more due to just his annoyance factor. A lot of people very frustrated with just the slows coming out of Kelvin throughout the game. The bubble restricts space and movement. You see, team fights aren't often clustered together. Everyone starts to spread out and find space. So Kelvin really restricts that space when we get those big team fights. So interesting to see. The draft, I feel like, on either side has gone in 2 completely different directions.
It's been a little bit of a toss-up. There's a Dynamo, though, this being in conjunction with the powerful ultimates on the other side. I mean, this can be a wombo combo of terrific proportions for Thomas College. The Ivy, though, has a special place in my heart. I've seen multiple moments where just that fall, the statue falling from the sky, can create such chaos and opportunity if given the right piece of time. So for Purdue, I want to see what you compare with the Ivy, what you're going to give in an opportunity. And they're just going 3 straight up DPS here. The Mirage is locked in as well.
That's honestly a kind of a crazy draft from Purdue right now. A lot of heavy hitters. I think if they can scale later into this game, they're going to be quite a force in these big team fights. But an Abrams pick out of Thomas, they're going beefy, kind of chunky with the Dynamo, with the Abrams, and then you have the 7 in Yamato earlier in the draft that's just full DPS. So you have supporting characters after the initial draft. This is I'm quite astounded. This is like a completely different draft, and I'm so excited for this matchup.
I like how we saw the first few picks and we were like, yeah, this is going to be like game 1. No, it's not. Absolutely no, it's not. We are going to get chaos, and Thomas College really saying we want to play forward. We want to get into these engagements, get a little bit messy. I mean, I've seen some Abrams tech where you can quite literally launch yourself from some of the mid lanes into the outer lanes with your ultimate. It gets crazy. We're already underway. 1.5 minutes already on the block. We can already see the allocations as well. 7 in the side lanes against a BEBOP, and then Yamato going up against Hayes.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I'm more curious, did we get any lane swaps? It looks like Kelvin and Abrams started together. Ivy did start with the Mirage. So we haven't gotten any crazy lane swaps by the looks of it. Everyone decided to play out as is, which is interesting because I'm surprised. I think oftentimes the lanes with such as Grey Talon are really hard early on due to the amount of poke that they can do from long range. So surprised that, the side of Thomas isn't struggling too much. Across the board, souls look pretty even, slightly favored for Purdue.
go ahead and just lean it up. And I mean, even game 1 kind of showed us this early stance doesn't matter too much a lot of the time. The early souls only gives us an indication of the power farming. It's really once we hit mid game that we have to be worried. But I do like the fact that you pointed out we do want to see Purdue get off to a very early start with these souls. We need to see them ramp up because their damage scaling is all very very one-dimensional as well. In terms of spirit damage, they don't really have characters or any heroes that actually want to put out a lot of that spirit damage. If they do, it's going to be almost secondary. So we want to see them take over, start to take those guardians down, start opening up those slots.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to the point you made about the early spirit lead. We saw St. Clair in the last game get 3 early urns, was easily up by 11k souls, I think, at one point. And then you saw Northwood took Storm just due to farming and getting better picks, getting better group fights, that they were able later on to flip that soul lead. So soul lead, especially now with the new urn changes, especially if you're down by that 8% margin, getting that easier urn could easily put you back in even footing.
Listen, I've tried one too many times to run that urn. I've just given up. I'm still impressed the team's getting away with it. Like, every time I get it, someone's like, I'm gonna kill you. And granted, I'm like a little lowly 7. I have no mobility to speak of. And I'm just like running along, and I'm very bright. You know, 7 is a very bright character. When you see it on this app, I'm just like, alright, I probably deserve that. I 100% deserve that. That's gonna be a nice little fixation. Slammed out from no one, and we get some damage from behind, but so far, no real kills either. Everyone just kind of testing the waters to figure out what they can take away.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about urn strategies since we didn't see anything too crazy last game with Kelvin, of course.
Oh, what a pinch.
Oh, do you want to take over this fight?
Oh,
that
man.
was crazy damage.
I like it, but the damage didn't really stick. That's one of the big parts we mentioned before. The Abrams and the Kelvin, they can output a lot of CC, but the damage coming through is not sustained just yet. So, for right now, they are rebuffed, and they're going to go ahead, buy up from behind.
Yeah, I was going to go into urn strategies because Kelvin with the ice path can easily send your urn over. And then Ivy's carry as well, carrying a teammate across the map, dropping that urn that much quicker. We saw pretty basic, you know, urn movement earlier in the last game. But yeah, we missed what happened. But a pick on BEBOP, we saw earlier that 7 was poking down BEBOP pretty aggressively in lane. And now it seems they finally managed to grab that kill. And 7, I don't know, he's scaling this game.
I mean, listen, you mentioned it before. Either a 7 wins or a 7 doesn't. It's one or the other. As now we get to see Jester take one away as no one has fallen as well. So a 1-for-1 back and forth. Remember, these laning matchups are vastly different. Hayes on the far right and 7 on the far left. These are we are going to have to watch for a little bit later on as we do see a little bit of chase. As that's going to be a kill, very nicely done. That's going to be a monster taking a 1 away from the Ice King.
Kelvin, decently weak early on that damage output, and unfortunately left by his lonesome. I believe the Abrams might have gotten picked there as well early on, so really tough situation. But here comes the chase in the corner. BEBOP actually goes through the first Guardian, and they're still trying to get a chase, and they do find this 7. So in return, the trade does happen.
I love this call down. You go ahead and rotate Mirage over, and you know that the 7 is weak early on. And I mean, BEBOP is not meant, I think, as a solo character. It's very much just go ahead and set up for the rest of the team. So now you siphon a lot of that, a lot of the souls into the likes of Mirage, which you've seen a Mirage here before. Right now, we are seeing a little bit of problem as Macron on the other side gets eliminated as well. Killa maybe getting a little bit of revenge for the earlier death.
Yeah, I believe that Ivy just caught way too far up, and with the CC chain that we mentioned from both the Kelvin and the Abrams, they caught her out. She can't move. She gets picked, and now they get a little bit more lane pressure. We've gotten really great traded kills. Just when we think someone has an advantage in lane, we get the gank, we get someone else supporting, and that trade comes right on back.
And we haven't even mentioned the fact that all the way on the far end, on the left side, the yellow lane has actually opened up. Because of that gank from Mirage, Macron was able to open it up, took down the first Guardian, so we're already seeing that soul increase 3k starting to bound up. And remember, Hayes on the other side, Jester, was able to take control with an early kill, so has a slight advantage, I would say, over the Yamato just for the time being. Now we get to see the battle of the inner lanes come out.
I'm really impressed too. Just looking at the map, Thomas College seems to be doing better with their overall jungle. Not too much. Are they going to be able to get a pick off of that?
Oh, but a double up there. I think they will. There comes Singularity saying, hello! That's the damage that you like. Bird tweets away. Give them the kills they deserve.
What a great exchange. I actually thought originally the Paradox was going to get picked out, but coming just in the nick of time. The Singularity pops. They manage to get the double kill instead. They swing that advantage. It's back and forth the entire beginning of this game. It is so impressive to watch these two teams battle out and be so even at now our 8-minute mark.
But the scary thing is we got our first taste of what Thomas can do in the mid to late game. Remember, we mentioned the fact that Thomas had kind of this wombo combo potential, and they already are turning it online. So Purdue have to be a little bit scared of this factor. If you're already getting caught by these, it also means that you may or may not be respecting this output come a little bit later on. So Purdue need to be aware of these combinations that can flood into their outputs every, minute or so. If they're not careful, Purdue can be looking at a very difficult mid-game transition if things don't really work out in their favor, as we're watching this Wraith try and fire away here in this blue side lane, just saying, hey, let's go ahead and keep ourselves in a comfortable spot farming it.
I'm honestly surprised at the struggle of the Wraith and the Grey Talon early into both Paradox as well as Dynamo. They have better poke in lane, and it just seems like they haven't been able to use that poke to their advantage. Wraith getting out of here. That Yamato coming in initially for the gank. We'll see if they can fight any longer, and it looks like they will continue that fight on.
But now they're getting pinched in. That's going to be the problem. Grey Talon is already down, and yes, get a kill back, but are you going to be able to get away? You are behind your Guardian. So thankfully, no other damage to come through, but Thomas really laying on the pressure, being able to invade into space. We mentioned before, the Guardians don't really give too much and get into these side lanes and get into the angles, and I mean, that's where you get chased down. We saw the 7 lose out earlier. Right now in the melee combat, though, Yamato trying to slaughter a little bit of an Ivy as Ivy's running for their life. Are they going to get away? The beam hurts so much. HP is still pretty good. Now it's stunned underneath as no one actually gets traded out. And the team comes to arrive and help out. Yamato is slain instead. And now the chase right back Purdue, chasing off for another kill if they can. How far are they going to go for this right now? In this right inner lane, they're saying, give us all we can. A chase behind as the Paradox realizes they're stuck in a Paradox of their own. They are slaughtered almost where they stand, 300 HP to their name.
Yeah, Hayes, as sneaky as she is, Invisible came through, got the sleep right in front of the Guardian there, and was able to continue on pressure. I am not sure if that ult was as planned as needed. I think maybe missed the knife initially, and because of it, we see our first flex slot unlocked, though, for Purdue with that pressure in lane.
Listen, that's what we call the non-respect or the disrespect ult. Listen, I don't need the ult to kill you. I don't need the ult to do anything of the sort. Right now, Abrams is saying, I don't need an ult to try and kill on the top ropes as well. With the map open up, as you mentioned, the flex slots starting to open up. Thomas are standing on the back foot ever so slightly, saying, okay, we need to start bullying these players out of lane as much as possible and start taking some of these Guardians for our own. This is the Yamato trying to slow things down here in the right inner lane with 3 against 1. And remember, poke is good, but if you can just push forward, Thomas have the opportunity.
Yeah, you're right on the fact that soul lead. It's opened up to 8K on the side of Purdue. They've just been able to manage to get more picks. They have that early damage output. This fight here is probably going to get caught out. Goes up on the rope. Can he use his ice path to get away? BEBOP's ultimate as well. It ends up missing. Cardi can't find the pick on that Kelvin, who I think just snuck away. No.
Oh, no. It wasn't snuck away. You look to the high ground and there's the ice. Oh,
Why
Cardi
did he
with
go
the
back that way. No.
Chixxa's like, please don't do my main like this. Please don't do my main like this.
I just don't know why he came back. I understand using that high ground, but I would have snuck. I think he expected a chase a little bit more, but instead there was no chase, and he came right back to the source of pain. So now Thomas, they have to go even farther back. Maybe pick on BEBOP. That stun lasted so long.
And another one behind. Yeah, Remedy is just not having a good day right now, but finally gets a kill with a little bit of help with the chase down. Very nicely done to open up that far left side of the field. This map is starting to get a little bit chaotic where both Thomas and Purdue are trying to make plays.
Hey, I mean, a well-timed parry saves you from Abrams. That's what he's like all about, right? Just punching things. Yeah. You know, whatever. It's fine.
You say that into a BEBOP who literally that's all they want to do as well. It's like, oh, dang. Flick goes ahead and gets knocked down. Right now, challenging out. Guardians are falling left and right now. 2 down on the side of Purdue, but 3 down on Thomas's side. And so the map hasn't opened up as much as we'd like, as the urn has actually been untouched for the last few minutes.
You took the words right out of my mouth. We have yet to see an urn this game come.
Oh!
No! What type of bait
You
is
would
that?
do that. You would absolutely do that.
Oh.
I understand there is a restart. I understand there is a restart, but that could not have been either more fortunately or unfortunately timed. That is just a stone fall straight on with the airdrop.
Anyways, what do you think about this Halloween update? Did you
Yeah,
like the pumpkin junglers? I'm gonna call them junglers for the little jungle minions, over the sake of it, and the masks on everybody.
I love the masks personally. They're real silly. Granted, some of them like don't sit properly as we just saw, but that clown one, Abrams is like, Abrams reminds me.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's so good, but it's just. It's silly all the same. So we are going to get right back into it, and this is actually a really dangerous slot. Purdue have a chance. We were talking about, do they have any sort of combination that they can use themselves? Well, this is the possibility. Let's see how far this stone drop goes. It's a little bit of slam down. You're able to get away, though. So for Thomas, they're like, hey, that's all you have. Up goes a slam from the Abrams, though. The book comes down and hits on one. It's a chase on one behind, but in goes the Hayes with the bullet dance. How much damage do you do? You do enough. Jester says, haha, who is laughing now? And takes the kill for themselves. Thomas back into a 5v6, or more like a 5v5 situation.
Yeah, I'm so frustrated with Thomas here. They don't follow up on that Abrams ultimate. He was all by his lonesome with 4. Why does he make that decision if he isn't going to follow up? And now we see a follow-up maybe come a little bit too late. The 7 gets picked after the ult, and
oh my gosh.
do we get more?
We don't need to. Jester's on a 7-kill streak and is like, I want to preserve my kill streak. That's all I want to do. Jester is doing a phenomenal job in adjusting and finding these flank angles, and it's actually why I think Thomas is just a little bit lackluster in how hard they want to charge. Take a look at them. They are falling back so far, and also it's because the far left side is also being contained. Purdue were able to shove out that lane, and so these melting pots are actually going to spill very quickly with a lot more souls in favor. Thomas now realizing that the Guardian is being taken down here. This is the last outer that they need, so Purdue is going to try and push as hard as possible. Beam comes out, laser to say hello, and it's an aerial turret lining all the way up, chase them all the way through. I love it so much as Thomas are beamed down from the skies. Who called that in? Someone got a COD streak going.
I hope that was clipped because, man, that was a spectacle to watch. BEBOP with the laser beam out, riding on the Ivy. I mean, why not get your personal laser? I mean, Ivy will just hook you right up because that's all that happened. And it absolutely wrecked the side of Thomas. I don't think I've ever seen that perfectly executed in a game, but I mentioned chemistry and teamwork's huge thing when it comes to those group fights, and Purdue showing that they know how to work together.
It's an amazing job, and it really lends into the fact that for their composition, they need this type of synergy between them. We mentioned the damage scaling for them. Their damage profile is amazing. All of them have great damage. You can see it there. 10 kills on Jester, unable to die so far. But Thomas, if they get a single chance, they will try and punch back. Yes, they're low, but their ultimates can do a lot. So Purdue have to keep this pressure up. They have to keep this damage riding, as this is going to be a little bit of a haze. Haze wondering what goes on, but Curse of Miracle now stuck into a corner. Cursed to their own demise and given the opportunity, and there it is. Curse of Miracle not able to take down the Jester in fine robes. Once again, Thomas loses another member here in the collision of death. Now wandering around BEBOP, wondering exactly where they can go. They're trying to get into the mix as this fight is lasting for quite some time. Thomas, I don't think they want to join any further. Paradox is actually taken, you know, not too far down. It's actually a chance as Bird says, hey, yo, what can I do? But I don't want to chase any further as Purdue need to save one of their members. Mirage is a little bit taken low. There's going to be a jump up as a sign. If I can do nothing, Monster snipes one out of the air. Remedy sent right back to spawn.
Yeah, Thomas keep getting picked again and again, each and after every match. Purdue moving as a group. You've seen the little cluster of all 6 of them constantly moving as a force together, and they're just catching people out who keep thinking, oh, there's only one. Oh, there's only 2. I can capture someone, and then they quickly get outnumbered. Similar situation here. Purdue moves as a group, captures that Yamato, and that's another pick. Purdue extending their lead further and further in this game. They're getting more of those monuments. Kelvin can do all he wants all the way on the side lane by himself, but Purdue, they're pushing with a larger force, and they're going to get those bigger objectives right now.
I mean, they're so happy. This would almost be their second walker of the game so far, and Purdue are really showing us a masterclass on how to push the advantage, even if the advantage is a single player down. We are only at 17 minutes, by the way, and yes, that soul lead, not too great, but it is going to go back and buy. I want to take a look at the inventories as well. Purdue, I don't think I've had a time to really go back and buy up. They are going to be sitting on so much here. They're going to go ahead, fill their inventories with as much as they can, get ready for the next push, as there's so much to be taken on the map.
Yeah, I think as well, Thomas getting the walker there from Kelvin's support, solo pushing that way. But I don't know if they even have a single flex slot yet. Ooh.
No one's running. No, I can't believe no one lived that, by the way. Very nice block on the end. Had to use their own to get away. It is on cooldown, of course, so no one just like, okay, I'm good. I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this Jester, though. Just like, that's 1 kill lost. I have 11 already stored away.
I think what's impressing me as well, Jester with a incredible lead when it comes to the souls and everyone else. Is BEBOP gonna just stall that Paradox? Is that BEBOP enough? Abrams coming through, and BEBOP will stun and just run away.
I think that's the right call. Right now for Thomas, I think the right idea is, okay, we can't be taking a lot of these fights. As much as we would like to fight, even if we would like to chase, even if it's a 2v1, you can't be sure who's around the corner. Unless you see everyone on the map, if you push any further, you have to realize you're not going to win up against some of these DPS members. So, you save your teammates, you go for these certain kills, and you keep farming, you keep looking for some of these lane scores, the souls reaping in, because right now, in between the lanes, it's Purdue all day long. They're getting every single reach out there, every single camp, it feels like, on the map.
Yeah, Purdue has decided to take more space on the map, move as a group, and they are picking off these jungle minions, getting a little bit more of a lead. Still have yet to see an earn. I think it's just a forgotten mechanic in this game. A little bit surprised that no one's even attempted to pick it up.
Well, it was collected a while ago, right?
Was it?
Yeah, it's not on the map anymore, so I think we're waiting for it to respawn.
Okay.
I think so.
I literally think through our fights, if someone sneakily dropped it in, I didn't see it.
Oh, Purdue, though, said no earn needed. We're going to put you in 1. Let's go ahead and take 2. Down goes Abrams and Yamato, and that's going to open up this mid-boss for the taking if you so wish.
I don't know. It's a little bit of an early mid-boss. I don't think Purdue's going to take that chance yet. Too many easily stealable options with Thomas. We mentioned about the ults between the Singularity and the Kelvin Frozen Shelter. It's hard to sometimes get the very important mid-boss final blow. I mean, it's not as easy as League. Think about it. In League, you take it and you take it. I mean, you might get a steal from a smite, but in this game, you have to take the boss and then melee the gem in the middle. And that timing has been stolen way too often.
I mean, the timing for a fight as well has been stolen away. Yes, Thomas were able to take down the Guardian, but the Singularity drawing them all in. That is going to be a kill number 1. Purdue lose their Mirage, and Thomas has to expel 3 ultimates, and that's up, but they still lose 1 on the back end. Down goes the 7, and no more is available. Abrams lifted up into the sky, has to get back to the rest of the team. You are going to be safe for the time being, but lost about 25% of your HP. How much more are you going to get? You're not tethered up right now. Purdue wanting to go on the chase. They say, hey, you lost 1 more. Paradox is gone. All of a sudden, things are looking dicey as Thomas are on the run. They go ahead and sprint back. Purdue say, cool. We are on a 15 kill streak on Jester. We will take our due rewards. In goes a little bit more as Yamato says, oh no, I can't compete. The sword is not stronger than the bullet sometimes. No one are running for safety.
The Mirage up the initial first blood in that team fight. And with that, Thomas down 3. Finally, 7 getting back up after being traded in that team fight. And Purdue, man advantage, may look towards that mid boss now, and I think they are indeed starting it. This could change the game. We saw how important that mid boss was for Northwood in the previous game, and no one on Thomas looking to counter it. That's a free mid boss, and Purdue going to gain that lead even further with it.
I love the Sachi drop just in case, and nobody's getting this. This is mine. Rejuve is online for everyone. Purdue have the freedom to do just about anything, but they do need to stall at the far right. You can take a look. Yamato just shoving up as far as possible. And of course, that Walker might be challenged, but look at this collapse. Yamato realizing they might not be in a good spot. In goes the Ivy as well, saying, hello, what's up? Let's bring the pain. Death and glory is all that meets no one, as that is one of the harshest deaths we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the chase goes down, but with
what is
so
Mirage
much
doing? Monster decided to walk into 4, and I know you're strong, but you're not that strong.
Map awareness, maybe? Question mark, considering. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done the click thing in League of Legends where you check the map every 15 seconds or so, but sometimes it's hard. It's not easy. You don't have little vision boards across the map. So you need to be very cognizant of everything that's happening. I think that urn was dropped by Cardi, and because of it, Purdue extend further, and no one gets picked. Maybe a fight, though. It looks like Thomas was actually looking to pick out one. Can they chase out somebody here?
I think they are, because they run straight into Jester. I don't know if this is the right spot, but they get the singularity, and maybe they get the kill. They do! They shut down Jester so quickly. Remember, the Rejuve is still available, so only 25 seconds. However, in goes the Lightning Storm itself. Thomas trying to pull out the wombo combo, but no one else is around. This is one of the dangers of a 7. Sometimes you can do damage, sometimes you can't. Purdue lose one of their star DPS, and the DPS will not fall, and they invested a decent amount, so Thomas will take their due rewards, try and back away, but they're still going to push a little bit more. 5 seconds on Jester to come up and alive, but take a look at where Thomas are currently setting up. They're still outside that first Guardian.
Yeah, I think with the trades now and Jester initially getting picked, keep in mind when Jester died, he was about a quarter of the team's souls in just one person. So a vital pick like that completely kills any of your team fighting capability with such a strong ult. It looks like they'll be able to push a little bit further, or at least they're willing to, but with almost all the walkers down on the side of Thomas, it's going to be hard. They're going for now dual guardians in that final base, and getting there across, we said, the chain of CC that Thomas has may be a harder task than anticipated.
Yeah, not only that, Purdue also have pretty much all of their flex slots available right now. They are going to have so much fun with some of the extra itemizations in here. Thomas are realizing they're up against a pretty harsh wall as they're just now building out some of their primary loadouts. They only have 1 flex slot available for themselves. And I really want to talk about this wave management. I want to keep eyes on this throughout the rest of this mid-game, because Purdue still have 4 rejuves up and available. If they so decide, they can go a little bit ham. They can get a little bit messy.
Oop, did it just disappear?
I lied. It just disappeared. Listen, I was watching the time and I was like, nope, I lied. But it's still the wave management, which is going to be that name of the game later on if Purdue wants to crack open the rest of the space.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks like Ivy here trying to get towards that 7 with Great Talon. We'll see if they'll go through it. BEBOP also a little bit too far, but waves are both even on both sides of the field. I'm somewhat surprised. A little bit of a group up for Thomas in this lane, and they'll get a couple damage on BEBOP, but won't extend any further.
I mean, we're taking a look at Purdue, and Purdue are kind of looking around the fact that they do want to go for this urn once again, just to get a couple more souls in the bucket. But there's a massive stack up there. We were taking a look at 5 currently bottlenecked in the inner right side lane. So, you know, maybe you don't go for it. Instead, you push the lane and you bring the Wraith right back to the rest of the squad. You have a couple teleporters, but there is going to be a challenge. Mirage actually 1v2'd right now and in a little bit of a dangerous spot because this is no one, as well as Abrams, trying to duke them out, but they're chasing a little bit too far. Are they going to get killed? Yes, they do. Monster once again gets caught out in what feels like no man's land.
Yeah, this is the second time he's just pushed that lane way too far, gotten a little bit greedy. Those are the only Guardians on Thomas's side that have significant damage to them, but he ends up getting caught out because he just wants too much. And Thomas have been very careful about where they go. BEBOP in the mid-boss area. Will he get caught himself? What a pull!
I mean, they were such a bop as well. I think they were just trying to deny a little bit of extra as it's going to be a punch forward. BEBOP running for their life. And they are going to be safe. But remember, no 7 around right now. I think Thomas is just saying, okay, we got our due rewards. We got our 1 kill, and we're just going to try and work from there. BEBOP trying to chase forward, though, saying, yo, what can I find? Cardi getting launched up. Up goes Abram as well, but the 2 dead. Off on the side lane, Purdue find annihilations. We mentioned the damage output. When you lose Yamato, when you lose the Paradox, you lose everything else. Kelvin Abrams are down. Johnny is the only one really not dead because they weren't anywhere near the lane. And Purdue get a 4-0 wipe.
Ooh, Cardi starts off with such a good hook on that Kelvin. Initially grabbed the Yamato and was able to half that health, but then follow up on the Kelvin. The team tries to come in, save him, but it's way too late. As we've mentioned, the damage output, especially with Purdue, with that heavy soul lead, is just too much. They'll grab the 2 shrines here. I think they'll be able to get both, unlock their last flex slot, and dare I say, maybe even get to the Weekend Maiden. If they manage to put out a little more damage, will they overgreed? I think they will. This Patron's going down rather quickly.
Yeah, they get about half, which of course it won't be enough. But as you mentioned, open up those flex slots, open up a little bit extra territory, which these fights are so good for Thomas. You have to recognize you really need all 6 available. I know that sucks to say because you want to take care of the side lanes. You want to take care of all the lanes. But at this point, you need everyone. You need Johnny, who is sitting on 27,000 souls. That is way more of your damage than you would like to state. Thomas needs to recognize that they have, I feel, quite literally 1 more shot at a fight before they fall.
Yeah, they have to perfectly CC chain all of those massive ults that we've mentioned for them all game long. The singularity better hit a couple. Is Mirage gonna get picked again? It looks like there is too. I say again, and I don't mean to be rude, but this is now potentially the 3rd time in a row if Mirage can't get away, and he cannot.
You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a 3rd time. I don't know what else to say. Monster. Even Johnny. Even Johnny comes out and is like, bruh, we gotta talk about this real quick. We gotta hold on to this. What just happened there? No, I believe we do have another disconnect, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure that is taken care of. But the state of the game has swung massively out of control for Thomas. The souls difference now sitting at about 23,000, spread across the majority of the members as well. Normally around this time you would see, you know, everyone kind of like 1 player stepping up, which granted, Jester, 37,000 of their own, but everyone on Purdue starting to get a little bit in their own.
Yeah, I think as well. We should have noticed when Jester's fun fact about himself was he's bad at video games means he's completely wrong. He's not bad at this video game. He's very much quite good. A senior at Purdue, previously Overwatch and a League player. That's a pretty nice combination to put those skills together into Deadlock. So impressive performance out of him. I think you said, what did he tap out at a 15 kill streak earlier before he died? It was pretty massive. I'm expecting a lot at the ending kill feed, and Jester in the middle of it all will grab that Paradox kill.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jester's pissed that they lost out on too much. But right now, Remedy's trying to shut that down at 3 right now. And a nice chase. Remember, the CC can do work. Jester, the only problem is going to be CC. However, you are running for your life. You got a little bit of a safety nets. But of course, Cardi might be on the chopping block as well. In goes the dome of damage. Miracle says you're locked in here with us. And that's going to be the problem around. Purdue lose their BEBOP.
Yeah, I'm wondering, did Abrams actually punch Jester out of that singularity?
I believe
or was
so.
It just,
I wasn't going to mention.
Was it? I wanted to make sure I saw that right, because that was just such unfortunate timing. I don't know if this is a space right now for Jester to be in. He does get the damage off, and will get it off twice so with the help of Ivy, and they absolutely demolish the two of them that are stuck in that little corridor.
I mean, that's a perfect spot, I think, for a Jester and a Macron to sit in. It's a Haze and an Ivy, and you're up against two tanks. I mean, Killa didn't have ult. Birdbird didn't have ult either. So, I mean, like, you're sitting there going, what damage does an Abram and a Dynamo actually have in that moment? You don't have Johnny. You don't have the Paradox or the Yamato. You can take this fight. Jester and Macron saying, we got this on lock. Right now, mid-boss is available. Urn is available as well. We're going to see a little bit of difference, but right now we are watching a little bit of a smoke bomb here. This is Jester saying, can we find something? Can we get a little bit messy? Of course, smoke bomb is out. No real worries about that one, but you're able to traverse all the way towards the middle of this battlefield.
Jester using that chop, still extending that soul lead even further. Johnny trading damage with that.
Oh, you don't like this. Johnny does not like this. I let this off at a bad time. I'm so sorry, Chixxa, but that is a crushing blow. Jester says, hello, what's up? And now you get a secondary. This is no one going, I need to hang on, but I don't think you can. A little bit of a snap on the damage. Look at the HP fall. That's the great talent trying to chase that sword. And look at the laser beam of damage. This is Jester honing in as the bullet dance is real. Straight into the middle of the base. You're doing more damage to the patron than the enemy team. And that is going to be Purdue busting open the base once again.
Yeah, I think this patron is about to be weakened in its final form. It seems like Purdue is just so overwhelming. But Kelvin, though, will get the orb. But I don't think any teammates with him. Great talent on the outside will be picked as a trade. But to follow, who else is left? It's a 5v3 and very much in favor of Jester, who just continues to output DPS. He cannot be stopped.
Jester saying, laugh, my audience, laugh away at your demise, your doom, and so much more. There is no paradox to this. It is our victory to share. Purdue will take the show match victory and move on to face Northwood in the finals.
Very impressive match by Purdue. We questioned their heavy damage build, but at least Northwood now knows what to expect